And welcome to my racetrack. I designed this in Auto Renbon Planner. If you haven't seen that yet, it's pretty darn nice. I paid for it, especially when you're doing large tracks. It really helps lay everything out. We're looking at 21.2 meters. That's roughly 69.5 feet of track. I've got a couple of lane changers. There's an outside in. I've got two double changers and a left to right. Wireless controllers. There's 3 driver dashes, start light, the Bluetooth connector. We have a double pit lane. I used a piece out of the Evolution X that it's like a auto lane changer. I took the controls out of that and put it into a one of the pit lane pieces, so when the car goes by here, it automatically will switch. So you can select to go into the pit here, and then when you get to this point, each time a car passes it, it changes. So that way you don't have two cars slamming into each other. So it will alternate left and right as the cars go into the pit lane. You can't really buy those anymore, but I found some on eBay. The single lane changers you can get. I just got the double lane changer, so I have a spare. Then for each of my actual lane changers, I have a lane gate installed. That's where you see the green light showing up. That way, anytime you create a dead zone, so anytime you go to change lanes, if there's a ghost car or another car in the way, or if a ghost car goes to try and change lanes, if there's another car in the way, it won't allow that to happen, which really cuts down on your accidents. What else do we have here? Well, we'll look at some of the 3D printing stuff. One of the things I made here was the pit lane entry sign, which I haven't put anything on it yet. And the dog is really going crazy barking. So we've got the pit lane entrance sign. I haven't put anything on it yet. I just printed it out. The Dunlop crossing bridge, that was another 3D print job. A lot of pieces. Took a while to print all that out. Then I have the crash fence. Those are pretty neat. I printed it double layer with white and red, and then a metallic silk color for the fencing. I have that set up on each side. It's flexible, handles the curves really nice, really easy to do. A little while to print, but came out pretty nice. This was the first one. As you can see, the red's a little low. On the other side, I adjusted the layers so it prints a little bit better. Track risers. Those all this stuff, most of the stuff I found on Thingiverse, except for the stuff that I made myself, like the pit row garages. That's all I did that in Blender. The doors open, and I printed out the little placards for the advertisements on the front, but they open and close. The hinge is pretty weak. That was a bad design flaw. The guardrails, I printed those out as well. It uses metal. The metal is pretty tense, so you can see how it's pulling this in, so I'm not sure I'm going to stick with this design. I may try something different, but it does look kind of neat. And then with the holes in it, I can use that for these little things that I made, or the light post that you'll see at the other end. The crosswalk, that was another 3D print job. Look at that here. That came out pretty nice. Took a while to glue all that together, but it came out real nice. This is another pit garage off of Thingiverse. That was one of my first prints that I tested with. It came out pretty cool. A little tall, could deal with some more windows and things like that. Thought about using it for automated garage door openings, so I have to cut some stuff and add some motors and design all that out. But this was just a first print, and as you can see, the roof is different colors because I ran out of the lighter gray as I was printing. And I didn't feel like waiting for another spool to come in. This is all just test stuff. I do have 4 power taps. You can see the wire there coiled up. It runs in a diagonal this way, just to make sure I have clean power all the way around, because it is 60-some feet. And especially with the lane changers, if you're using lane changers, you definitely want power taps between each segment, because you will lose power. This is the other crash wall. As you can see, the red looks a little bit better as I have it a lot higher up, so it looks a little bit more uniform as you go. I also created the wall, the pit lane wall, small segments in between each. There's little clips that hold it all together, and then I left holes in the middle for later. I have some more light posts that I'll probably put up to illuminate the whole thing as you go down the straight. As we get over here, we can see some of the car lifts I made. One of them, the single post, I got off of Thingiverse. The dual one, that I created myself. A couple barrels, a little track cleaner. I got this off, I think it was Professor Motor. It does a really nice job. It comes with a bunch of Swiffer pads. You can just cut more to fit later. It goes in the track, your car pushes it around. It does a really good job of just cleaning crud off the track before you go to race. That is the display for the Schlossnick speedometer. They're out of Germany. It works pretty well. There's some sensors in the track, and it gives you a readout on the speed as the car passes by. A few more things. You can see the little light posts I have. These I got off of eBay. They're getting harder to find, the tall ones. They have the shorter ones, but the tall ones are getting a little bit harder to find. I've seen some on AliExpress. I think I got like 20 of them. I'm going to get some more just to have backups. Then I created the light stands for the posts to plug them into. One is just the post goes into the hole on the top of this. If you want to use it in conjunction with a railing system, or the other, as you can see, the furthest two out, they snap into the sides of the little holes on the side of the track, so they just connect right to it, and it comes up pretty nice. But the lighting looks really good when you have it darker in the room. I've got it lit up just for dealing with low light with the GoPro, but with the lights down, it really illuminates nicely. To bring power to it, since these are 3-volt lights, I got a $1. You can get those on Amazon for like $8, and then you can dial in just how much voltage you want to send out. So you can have 12 to 24 volts going into it, and then you can dial it down to whatever you want to come out of there. So I have it dialed to 3. And then I have a distribution block where you can just tie in, I think there's 1, 2, 3. I think there's 16, and then you can also daisy chain it to more blocks. So that's one easy way to get power all around your track for your different lights. The Mobile One gantry, that came from Magnetic Racing. The same with the Illuminated billboards. There's the shell, and there's a couple more. I'll go down to them. Those are all kits. They're, it's laser cut, like press board, They're really nice. They're not that expensive. Takes a little time, you know, you got to paint them and glue them all together, but you can do it in an hour or two, just gluing it all together. It came out real nice. Really pleased with them. They got a lot of cool stuff. They got great pit buildings, just anything you can think of. They got spectator stands. A lot of it's geared to, you know, it's you know, from the 40s to the 70s kind of look, but they're really cool. Especially the illuminated ones. The actual illuminated part is just a little bit like as thick as like 4 sheets of paper, and it's got a little circuit board that you have, I don't know, 40 different illumination patterns. Some of them are kind of I think it's all runs off one board, and it just sends out certain signals, and you can use any board on any light, but you just cycle through till you get something you like and go with it. It comes with a battery power, 3 AAAs, but you can just cut that off. I think it's like 3 volts. So if you are running a big, you know, if you got power all around your track, you can cut it off and just hardwire it. Makes it real simple. Let's look at the other ones. Here we have the Texaco light, and then the Champion spark plug light. And these probably don't show up too well because of the illumination around here. They're not super bright just because it's a really thin display board. But with the lights down, they really show up nicely. And then we have the ESO one. So these are the ones that I've been able to purchase. They had another one. I forget who made it, but I haven't seen it for sale, and I don't know if they'll be able to get any more. I had talked to them not too long ago, and they said they were getting one for a Goodyear illuminated billboard, but I have not seen that yet. I've been watching, but I expect it hopefully here in a few months. What else do we have? I think that's about it. As you can see, it takes up almost all of my living room. Well, it does take up all of my living room. Maybe one day I will be able to get it into a position where I have just one room where I can really do actual scenery around it. That would be the goal, but I don't know how long I'm going to live here, and I don't really have a space for it just yet, but that is the plan. I've been doing this for about a year now. Just one night I remember playing with slot cars as a kid, and I was like, I wonder what slot cars are like these days. And I took a look, and I was just blown away, and I said, I've got to try that. And it just becomes quite addicting. I've got a lot of cars. I've been playing with a lot of different upgrades, starting to branch off into slotted and NSR cars. One reason I went with Carrera was simply because of the options. Their digital system is really well laid out. You've got, you know, you can run 6 cars with 6 people driving them and 4 or more ghost cars. So you can sit here and race by yourself if you want to, or at least with you racing with a couple other friends. You have ghost cars running as well. The cars are so beautifully detailed. I've looked at a lot of different ones, and as far as I'm concerned, the Carrera cars are the prettiest of them all. A little bit heavier, but also the bang for the buck. You can't beat it. Side by side, looking at like the Aston Martins and the Ford GTs, even against Scalextric, I think the Carrera cars just have a little bit more detail. They're just finer looking cars, and the value is hands down. You get more out of the Carrera. They come with, for $50 you get a digital chip. I just got a new Scalextric Aston Martin. It was $60, no digital chip. So you get the Carson plug-in chip for another $40. So you're at $100 just to run it on the digital track. Whereas for $50, that's all you need to get going with the digital in the Carrera. And I think you get a prettier car. I really have no desire to race the James Bond Lotus with the skis on the back. they have cute little niche cars that are okay, but just flat out, I think Carrera has the better cars and the better track system. I like the wider track. It looks better, especially with the cars. The scale electric's a lot smaller, so yeah, you can get a lot more in a smaller space, but I don't think it looks as good. I think this layout, the way the Carrera track is laid out, is far superior. So I'm happy I went with it. I know, what is it, slotted, or is it, I think it's slotted, has the oxygen system, and that's nice as well. You can do a little bit more with it likely, but you're still having to take track with if you want to run lane changing, you still got to buy lane changing track, and then you have to swap out the boards and add their boards. And then if you want the lane gates, you still have to do that. And I don't know if their lane gates work with the oxygen chips. I have not checked that. That I have no idea. Maybe you can, maybe you can't. I'm assuming you can't, because these were designed to go on the Carrera tracks. So if you do that, then you can't deal with the lane gates. But yeah, the oxygen is probably a more intricate system, and I know there's plenty of people out there that do it. But if just to get going and get started, I can't see why you wouldn't go with the Carrera set. I have started enjoying some of the slotted NSR cars. This is one of the first ones I got, the slotted Maserati. If you like the GT cars, which I really do, I like the road racing aspect of these cars. You know, they have the more, they don't have a lot of those. And then basically the only ones I've seen that I really liked was that Maserati. They have that white one that's kind of boring looking. And then they have two Nissan GT3s, the GTRs. I have one of those already on order. I'm waiting for that to come in. But again, no digital chip, no lights. So a lot of upgrades to be done. Same thing with that's another thing with the scale electric cars. You know, most of the Carrera cars have really bright, nice lights. They really light up nicely. And you put next to the scale electric cars, their lights are quite dim. So if I really want to make a car shine, I'm going to change out those lights. But like that Maserati, I'll show it to you in another video. I put in a Schlotzschick decoder, which goes in, it's a really small footprint. You need some soldering skill, but they go in quite easy. It doesn't take up much space, and it has 3 ports for lights. You got your headlights, your tail lights, and then auxiliary brake lights. And it also does the ghost car and refueling functions, and the lights stay on. Unlike you use the Carson decoder for the scale electric ones, the lights only come on, if you just plug it in, the lights only come on when you are on the throttle. As soon as you come off the throttle, the lights go off. So you have to actually hardwire the lights to the chip, which means more soldering. You have to, and so it can work that way. A little bit more work to get it done, but still the lights on the scale electric cars are eh. I ordered a bunch of LEDs from different sources, some from Evans Design, because I know they have quality chips, and then I got some already pre-wired ones on eBay and Amazon, and then I ordered just some straight chips themselves, and I soldered on the wiring myself to see the different what I'm going to look at brightness wise, because I want them to stand out. You want nice bright lights on the cars, so I was looking at the different ones. But that car's already been lit. I've got dual. There's 4 LEDs lighting up the tail lights. Then I've got the headlights lit, and then I've got orange fog lights up in the grill. So I'll show that later. Actually, I could probably put it on here right now, and they should light up, and you can see the difference. There's one of my little track stands. So yeah, there you can see the headlights and the orange driving lights in the grill. Let me move it back and make sure it's not. And then the tail lights. So we'll look at that again. These are that's the headlights and the driving lights up front. And then the tail lights in the rear. And in another episode, I'll take this apart and let you see how I did all that. So that's the track. I haven't really named it yet. I think I have it called the Chicago Circuit and Auto Rennbahn Planner. Oh, yeah, one more thing. The racing system. And here I don't remember the name of it off the top of my head. It's called Smartrace. I forgot all about that. I have it on a tablet. I have all the cars in it. It takes care of all your racing. It handles the races, practice, qualifying, and then I have it displayed on the big TV up here. It keeps track of everything. You can have different circuits. It will keep track of all the races you've done, all the lap times for each car, how many times the car has won. It's pretty detailed, and there's other stuff you can buy as add-ons for like a championship racing series. There's dynamic weather effects where rain will come in, you have to go into the pits for a certain amount of time to so-called change into wet tires, and then when this stops raining, you have to go in and change back to the dry tires. There's simulated damage. If a car wrecks or something, then you have to go pit for a certain amount of time to fix the damage. So there's a lot to offer with that, depending on how detailed you want to get. It also does its own fuel system if you want to use their fuel system, which is counted more by laps. But it's a pretty neat system, and each person, if they want, they can monitor their car on their phone, or like here I have the whole thing displayed up on the big screen TV. You just need if you have Windows 11, you can add it as an app on your laptop and then cast to the TV, but I just have it on a little tablet, and then I cast it to the TV. But it's all touch screen to go through the menus and stuff on the tablet, so highly recommend that one. Yeah, Smartrace. You can find that in the App Store. So I think we'll call it a day here now.